It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Vocation Brewery. It's a beer that's launched into Sainsbury's in the UK. And this is their double dipped coconut macaroon. Naughty and nice chocolate stout. It's coming in at 6% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. There's a look at it. Sounds tremendous, doesn't it? Sounds absolutely fantastic. But I'm going to say, and I'm going to say this to the people who, it was £3 a can. £3 a can. Got my receipt here just to double check it. I know I'm not the greatest when it comes to getting my prices right, but yeah, I'm doing my best effort here to get it bang on right. It's £3 a can as of 2023, March 2023. Anyway, moving on, very quickly with this. There are some of you out there that love Vocation. You love their really fantastic sweet stouts that you enjoy and you love and you're passionate about it. But sadly, and I'm going to say this sadly, I'm not a massive fan of sweet stouts. The reason why I'm mentioning all of this now is because I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't want to waste anybody's time. If you love a sweet stout, those really kind of syrupy stouts, then I'm probably not gonna like this beer. Now, I know this kind of lines me up to, or you already don't like the beer before you've opened it, you've already made your mind up and all this other stuff that people comment in the comments box, which again is your right, it's your right to do so. But I do go into these beers impartially. I hope I love the beer. But I don't want to waste anybody's time. I've done the Vocation, the Bounty, the coconut milk chocolate imperial stout. It was 10% ABV. It was part of the Naughty and Nice series of beers. Same as this, Naughty and Nice series of beers. I really didn't like it. So I don't want to waste anybody's time. You're either in or out. Let's get on with the beer review. I feel like that's pretty fair, isn't it? That's a pretty fair way to start a beer review. Little bit of smoke on the can opening. Beer in the glass. So, for the people who are new into the craft beer industry, starting to drink stouts and IPAs and all these wonderful beers, there's a few different styles of stout. There's a dry Irish stout, which is some people call Guinness. There's sweet stouts, which is probably this. And then you have traditional stouts that have been brewed with lots of roasted malt that give off a fantastic bitterness in the beer, natural coffee flavours, natural chocolate flavours, natural caramel flavours from the roasted malt and the malts in the beers. And they're the stouts that I like. I like that more kind of natural roasted malt stout. This will probably be a sweet stout. It will probably be brewed with lots of kind of coconut, macaroon, sweet inspired stuff. Actually, if you're thinking about it, as I'm talking about this, I was just talking about the coconut beer from Vocation. This might be the regular Bounty 6% stout, and I reviewed the Imperial version. Just tied the two beers together. So we got a 1 to 2 finger tan coloured head. It looks like a stout. Looks very good. Jet black beer in the glass. A little bit of carbonation rolling up the side of the glass there. Let's get the aroma on the beer. Isn't it? Well, actually, the aroma is of, there's a little bit of roasty, toasty malt in there. It doesn't smell overly cloying and sweet. There's a little bit of coconut. There's a little bit of chocolate. There's some toffee flavours coming through. It smells okay. It smells okay. But the proof is always in the tasting. Let's go. Whoa. Whoa. I have to bear in mind that they called it a coconut macaroon stout, chocolate stout. And that, of course, by picking that beer up, you must like coconut and macaroons and chocolate. And if you like all of those things, you're probably going to like this beer. What gets me, what annoys me, if I'm honest, because we've gone past that point now, haven't we, where people either want to watch or they don't want to watch. You've carried on watching. So what annoys me, my biggest grievance, my biggest bugbear with using the word stout is that it's really not a stout. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. It's almost kind of, the sweetness is almost burning my mouth. Now, I don't really eat sweet stuff. I'm much more of a savoury, bitter person. So I'm probably not the best person to be reviewing this beer. But I can feel the syrup on my lips. If I close my lips and open them again, they're sticky. They're sticky and sweet. As another kind of comparison, I've drank dessert stouts very recently. Stephen Claxton sent me some amazing dessert stouts from, I think they were from Amundsen. They were a Norwegian brewer, and Amundsen managed to kind of brew their dessert stouts, but with some bitterness and with some roasted malt, and they called it very similar things like cinnamon, brown cheese, all of those kind of very similar kind of things that the Vocation are doing here. Cakes on the label, but they managed to balance some roasted malt into their dessert stouts, and it made it made an incredible difference to the beer. An incredible difference. And I mentioned in those Amundsen beers that I said, look, the Brits, when the Brits think of dessert stouts, they go all in. They go all in on the sweetness. They go all in on the coconut and the chocolate. But they forget that they've used the word stout. And there needs to be that balance. There needs to be that kind of roastiness, that toastiness. Otherwise, they shouldn't be putting the word stout on their cans. They really shouldn't. This should be called a sweet, dark dessert beer. A sweet, dark dessert beer. It shouldn't have the name stout on the can. And I'm as passionate about this as I am about that Scottish brewery from Edinburgh who make so-called modern sour beers. I also think that they shouldn't be using the word modern sour beer, because it's not sour beer. It might be modern, but it's not sour beer. It's a very similar instance here where there's a certain amount of brewers that think that everybody wants sweetness. Everybody wants to drink sweet beer. I don't. I really don't. I really, really don't. Coconut, macaroon, yes. It's tasting a little bit like a dark mild without the roastiness. But then it's just cloyny, sweet flavours. And it's just not for me. It's got a nice body. It's got a nice body to the beer. But it's just not me. It really isn't. What the Vocation say about this beer? Toasted coconut macaroon dipped and drizzled in our signature chocolate stout. Naughty and nice. So they've described it as sweet chocolate and coconut. There's not a mention here of stout. They've used the word chocolate stout, but that's a flavour wheel. That's Vocation's example of a flavour wheel there. So if you're thinking flavour wheel, you're thinking sweet chocolate coconut. Really kind of like cloyny sweet. It needs to be balanced off with some bitterness. The Scandinavians get it. They understand that you have to balance, even if it's a dessert stout, you have to balance off some bitterness. Otherwise, what's the point in calling it a stout? Lessons to be learned, I think, from some of the UK brewers. They need to learn that we're not Americans. Well, I'm certainly not an American. I hate sweet things. So it's not for me. It's a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.